The one standing on tiptoe cannot stand firm. The one who rushes ahead cannot go far. The one who tries to shine brighter than others ends up dimming their own light. Lao Tzu. We've all seen the relentless efforts people put into making life better, only to end up facing endless criticism from society. They emphasize on acquiring knowledge and pursuing external goals, but sometimes, these efforts harm both physical and mental health, leading to a lingering sense of dissatisfaction. Taoist philosophers have recognized humanity's tendency to act in ineffective ways and intervene in nature, often making things worse. All efforts, rules, and ethical standards are created to serve human interests. However, according to Taoist sages, we are encouraged to abandon them. Why? Because the thoughts and values humans create often lead us astray, diverging from the natural flow of life. Attempting to change what is natural is like swimming against the current, exhausting and fruitless. Behind the ceaseless movement of the universe lies a mysterious and indescribable entity, referred to as the Tao by Taoist philosophers. The Tao encompasses everything and transcends our sensory perception. Though we may never fully comprehend the Tao, we can still sense and understand it, albeit partially, despite it being beyond our grasp. This serves as a reminder of humanity's futile efforts to define the intangible, things they cannot grasp. Using terms, concepts, humans create perspectives, shaping the world around them. Yet, despite their efforts, they sometimes fail to grasp the essence of the universe, creating misconceptions and an artificial, somewhat barren world to make life easier for themselves. However, when striving excessively, they risk losing the most important thing, the Tao. Lao Tzu mentioned the use of color, sound, and taste to expand our understanding in the Tao Te Ching. However, this also limits our understanding because there are countless things that cannot be captured through familiar concepts. Humans often create rigid regulations to feel safe and in control of every situation. However, in this process, we sometimes limit ourselves because the world is ever-changing, and rigid principles cannot apply to every circumstance. From consciousness of fairness and consensus, humans have created complex yet artificial systems, including moral standards, codes of conduct, and rituals, to create a highly artificial way of life. Although their intentions may be good, they often try excessively to ensure everything runs smoothly, while constructing prisons for themselves. Now, let's talk about the concept of effort. I believe most of us are familiar with the notion that, in reality, we only need to act, and not strive. This is closely related to the philosophy of going with the flow of nature. In the state of going with the flow of nature, we are completely in harmony with action, like a dancer fully immersed in the dance, or a poet completely united with the poem. This is the concept of Wu Wei, which can be simply understood as non-action, or doing nothing. When applied to the state of going with the flow of nature, Wu Wei means acting naturally, without hindrance, without force, performing everything smoothly and without pain. In the context of the video, Wu Wei can be simply understood as doing nothing, or non-action. Often, doing nothing may be seen as useless and not yielding results. But according to the philosophy of Taoism, this is not entirely true. Think of the universe as an endless, ever-chaotic whirlpool. This shows us that development always exists in the natural flow of life. Instead of using strength and exhausting ourselves, as is the habit of modern culture, we can continue through life more easily by using deeper understanding. There are times when problems seem to solve themselves, and by acting, we often make the situation worse. When we spend too much time and energy trying to improve everything, we distance ourselves from the natural flow of life. Often, we continue to act in ways that, according to Taoist philosophy, go against nature and waste both our energy and intelligence. We often do this because it is deeply related to how we evaluate the value of specific factors in life. For example, while we disdain poverty, we also long for wealth and fame, and while we feel dissatisfied with loneliness, we crave belonging. Therefore, we often feel the need to eliminate what we consider negative and enhance what we consider positive, even though the truth is that these two often cannot exist without each other. We often feel that it is necessary to adhere to or adjust nature based on specific belief systems. We try to improve this world, but the results of our interventions are often the subject of much debate. So how can we apply these ancient philosophies to modern life? According to Taoism, we modern individuals continue to struggle, while the ultimate result often only amounts to insignificant, minor achievements. It's remarkable how we still immerse ourselves in the whirlpool of futile hope and insignificant efforts. Let's consider some examples of how we struggle, and compare them with the ancient principles of Taoism such as the Tao Te Ching and the Zhuangzi. First, let's look at the effort to improve the world. Alan Watts, a pure scholar of Taoism, once suggested that those with the highest and noblest ideals in society often cause the greatest disruption. The "save the world" attitude often disrupts the natural flow, as they always seek to impose human ideas of good and evil on the world. A clear example is communism, a movement born out of the desire to improve human life through a just society and fair resource sharing. However, setting aside debates about the naturalness of this approach, it must be acknowledged that the way communist proponents propagate their ideas often tends to be brutal. In the Zhuangzi, there's a story about a man named Enan Hoi who sought permission from Confucius to go to the country of Ngai because he heard that this country was ruled by an incompetent king. Enan Hoi wanted to apply his knowledge of governance to help the country of Ngai. However, Confucius prevented him from doing so, not only because he thought that the unpleasant ruler of Ngai would not listen, but also because this action went against the natural dignity of human beings, making them dislike others interfering and teaching them from a lofty moral standpoint. As Confucius said, "If you do not understand the heart of others, yet present yourself before a rough person and try to force them to listen to preaching about kindness and morality, methods and standards, that is simply taking advantage of the weaknesses of others to promote one's own virtues." This raises the question: do we often use the mistakes of others to create a higher position for ourselves on the moral high ground, one-sidedly? This only creates more division and tension, and makes it more difficult to change the course of everything towards positive and sustainable directions. As Laozi wrote in the Tao Te Ching, "Whoever wants to dominate the world and control it. I don't think this can be achieved. The world is a sacred living structure and cannot be controlled. Excessive effort only makes everything worse, and happiness slips through your fingers if you don't pay attention. In fact, constantly striving to achieve happiness through the pursuit of wealth, power, or fame is often the main reason why we cannot truly be happy. We often think that the destination of happiness is when we have a prosperous bank account, a successful book, or a YouTube channel with 100k subscribers. But in reality, happiness is not that simple. Of course, we may feel a little excited, but according to Taoist philosophy, that is not true happiness. In this endless pursuit, we seem to overlook goodness and the true values of life. Faced with this extremism, we find ourselves in the tragedy of striving and never achieving what we desire. But interestingly, true appreciation does not lie in wealth, fame, or perfect appearance. It lies in simple things like a comfortable life, good food, warm clothes, and a simple lifestyle. The world, with the bitterness of poverty, misery, and the cruelness of inevitable death, makes people realize the wonder. A life that does not know what sleep is, a meal that is not naturally fulfilling, without warm clothes to protect the body, and without the beauty and sound that bring joy. Those who have to endure this suffering face daily worries and fears, a harsh reality for the body and mind. The wealthy, in boundless greed, often immerse themselves in accumulation, but even they cannot spend it all. They are obsessed with accumulating wealth, forgetting the integrity of themselves, much like cruel treatment of the body. So if the pursuit of happiness seems like a dead end, then we need to look in a different direction. There are some suggestions from Taoist philosophers for us. Before we explore these suggestions from Taoism, let's pause to consider the third factor, striving to become something else. In the Nanhua Jing, there is a meaningful story about jealousy among different species over the unique characteristics. The centipede envies the snake for its ability to move without legs, while the snake envies the wind for its ability to travel far and wide without a physical body. However, the wind argues that just one finger or one step is enough to hinder its movement. In summary, nature has created myriad beings with the unique traits. None is inherently better than the other. It is only through evaluation that they become so. Therefore, we feel the need to change ourselves just to fit an ideal. Under the illusory light of customs and prejudices, people with fair skin aspire to have tan skin, while those from East Asia seek a more U-shaped appearance. Black hair strives to become blonde, while blonde hair craves for darkness. We are pressured to change ourselves, striving to meet standards set by humans themselves. Failure to comply might lead to being judged as lacking. Hence, we have sacrificed our sixth finger just to conform to the standard of 5. Why not simply be ourselves, as nature has bestowed upon us? This would be much easier. Everyone and everything has its own place within the integrity of existence. By attempting to adjust this, we are pushing the world into imbalance. When people see beauty, ugliness arises. When people see goodness, evil exists. Existence and non-existence are similar. Difficulty and ease complement each other. Long and short define each other. High and low oppose each other. Head and tail go together. In terms of applying these principles in reality, Taoist philosophers have proposed some suggestions. Firstly, the Book of Changes highlights the benefits of following the middle path. This suggests that we should live a balanced life, not forcing ourselves beyond our capabilities and limitations. Instead, we should seek refuge within ourselves, keeping the mind and body healthy and close to nature. Following the middle path, merging with the endless flow of nature, we can preserve body and mind, respect our parents, and live a meaningful and fulfilling life. Tao is an eternal and unchanging flow. Laozi believes that to find Tao, we should accept new knowledge every day and let go of rigid mental constructs. Instead of trying to change nature, we should let our souls expand and allow the universe to shine in its own way. This is akin to trying to cover up the natural landscape with artificial structures, something unnecessary that detracts from its natural beauty. Rather than accumulating more knowledge, we should let go, allowing our hearts to become peaceful and serene. Only in achieving that state of tranquility can we open our hearts to Tao, or in theological terms, to God. In this state, we experience true joy, and that joy is genuine happiness. According to Taoism, this process is called liberation of consciousness from the limitations of knowledge and prejudices. By freeing ourselves from something every day, Taoist philosophers achieve a state of non-action. This is the art of not striving, while still maintaining sensitivity and flexibility to solve any problem. Thanks for watching.